You're watching the 11th episode of the Pinfall with me, Danny Bell, featuring Calumet's head coach, Jim Wadkins, for the second episode of the evolution of wrestling. This is the presentation of Region Sports Network, where the region comes to wrestle.
The IHSWCA continued to keep score of the individual state finals and presented a coach's trophy to the unofficial state champions at their Hall of Fame banquet on the Sunday after the individual finals. In keeping with the IHSAA's ruling tradition of recognizing only one official state championship team, excluding, of course, the classes used for football since 1973, and the addition of classes for all team sports in 1997 and 98. I have not listed any of these unofficial state champions in my history until 2013, when the IHSWCA was granted permission to sponsor a classed team state dual tournament by the IHSAA. In 1997, the Evansville Mater Dei Wildcats would complete the three-peat with one finalist in the traditional state final and by dispatching Penn 32-18 in the team final. Portage represented Northwest Indiana and lost in the semifinals to Penn 41-23. Calumet region crowned four state champions in Vince Sessa of Lake Central and Jake Warner of Portage, with Leroy Vega and Bill Maldonado winning their second titles for Portage and East Chicago Central. In 1997, the NCAA changed its weight management rules after three college wrestlers died from dangerous weight cutting practices. These practices included severely restricting food and liquid, wearing vapor impermeable suits while working out, and using heated rooms and/or saunas to induce sweating. These weight-cutting practices led to dehydration, malnutrition, and eventually multi-organ failure. They also limited performance and led to harmful effects on the body, including death in 3 instances. Weight classifications were intended to create a safer, more even playing field by matching competitors who were close in weight. However, weight cycling was a common practice where wrestlers would cut weight before a match and regain it immediately after the weigh-in. This practice probably still continues to this day, but in an effort to try to minimize some of that, they came down hard. They changed the college weight classes. They instituted all kinds of body fat regulation, and it's seeped down to the high school levels as well. New weight management rules were implemented by the National Federation of High Schools following the lead of the dramatic changes mandated by the NCAA. That included: 1, wrestlers could not lose weight below a minimum body fat percentage of 7% for boys or 12% for girls. Wrestlers underwent hydration testing before a body fat assessment was made. Wrestlers whose body fat assessment fell below the minimum must have a physician's release in order to participate. And coaches and athletes would be educated on nutrition and weight management. The IHSAA was one of the first state high school associations to implement these changes. In fact, they were at the forefront of the changes, implementing a mandatory weight management program several years before the National Federation of High School mandate took effect in 2007. In 1998, Mater Dei would claim their 4th consecutive state title with 3 finalists and a champion in the traditional state meet by defeating Portage 48-10 in the team final. The Calumet region crowned 2 state champions in Jason Tabor of Portage and Dan Spencer of Maryville. In 1999, Evansville Mater Dei would again earn the state title without an individual finalist in the traditional meet, but not without a scare in the team semifinals against Hobart. After losing huge upset pins at 145 and 152, Evansville Mater Dei found themselves down 30-12 with only 5 bouts left. The Wildcats reeled off 3 straight decisions to close the gap 30-21 with 2 matches remaining. Mater Dei won at 2:15 by fall to make it 30-27 before their undersized 275-pounder pinned his much larger foe, securing victory 33-30. The Wildcats beat Belmont 35-21 in an anticlimactic final for their 5th consecutive crown. In Market Square Arena's final year of hosting the state finals, the Calumet region crowned 4 individual state champions. In Alex Ramos of Hobart, Thurman Stone of Calumet, Fred Joseph of Portage, and Marcus Shantube of Lowell. The decade of the 90s would produce 2 3-time state champions in Bloomington North's Patrick Cassidy and Beech Grove's Stephen Bradley. Steve Balish and his buddy Don Rogers led Hobart Wrestling for 30 years. Together, they coached the Bricky Matmen to 6 conference, 13 sectional, 3 regional, and 1 semi-state championship, as well as a team state semifinal berth that I just talked about. Their 61 Bricky state qualifiers placed 8th 6 times, 7th once, 6th twice, 5th 6 times, 4th 2 times, 3rd 6 times, 2nd 4 times, and they crowned 8 state champions. Coach Balish coached 3 sports at Hobart for 50 seasons and was posthumously honored recently when the Hobart Wrestling Room was renamed in his honor. His likeness, Johann the Bricky, stands guard outside that room.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I think it was like 53 years or more even of 3 different sports.
Yep.
I was trying to contact ESPN at the time to see if they could do a little bit on that because couldn't have been anybody in the nation that had that amount of accumulated time in at that time. You know, that's 150 years of coaching in one man.
And he never wrestled.
Yes, he was a basketball player for Indiana State, I think, wasn't he?
Well, he didn't play basketball in college, but he played high school basketball at Hobart. He was a weight man in track, and he was an outstanding football player. And he came back and coached. Don Howell hired him out of Indiana State, and he was a better human being than he was a coach. Never going to find a better human being and a tougher dude. The guy. I hope I don't gross anybody out. The guy taught wood shop.
I know,
taught industrial arts. And he said whenever he turned the machines off at the end of the day, he was always done. He never turned them back on regardless. Well, one day a kid came up, he needed another cut on a piece of wood to get his project done. So Steve went over and turned it on and ran it for him. And I don't remember the exact thing that happened, but the guide slipped and he cut off a couple of fingers. And
these two, his pinky.
The guy's so tough, I would have died right there. I would have bled to death. I would have been screaming bloody murder. Steve Balish picked up his fingers, wrapped his hand in a towel, and walked down to the nurse. And he used to always tell jokes that after he lost those 2 fingers, he was so used to putting coins in his hand when he would pay at a drive-through or to do something with money. But by not having those 2 fingers, he couldn't hold coins. And every time he put money in his hand, it would fall out. He was a good dude. I stood in line for 3 hours to pay my respects at his funeral a few years ago. And there was such a huge mass of humanity there. A finer human being never did this job that we do. He was a great man.
I got an opportunity. There's still a photo that I have of Steve and my daughter. And they're on the wrestling mat at Hobart, and the lights are all off, and just the center lights on. And it's just them from the back. And it's just thinking of that picture, you know, how much he's meant to so many different generations. And like you were saying, outside of wrestling.
He and Donnie were the father figures to 30 plus years of Bricky athletes. Donnie never had a child of his own, but he raised thousands of other people's children.
Yeah, and he has brother Bob.
Yep. Good folks.
Yes.
From the early 1990s through the mid-2000s, the Portage Indians were the dominant program in the Calumet region. Larry Tharp succeeded Bruce Sheriff in 1992 and brought Ed Pendosky on board in 1994 after he graduated from Purdue. Coach Tharp went 111-7 for a .940 percentage in dual meets from 1992 to 98, winning the following: 6 DAC, 6 sectional, 6 regional, 4 semi-states, 1 the traditional way, and 3 dual meet semi-states, 3 state qualifying teams, 2 state semifinalist teams, and the 1998 state runner-up team. Larry coached 31 state qualifiers, 18 place winners, 7 finalists, and 4 state champions. Pendosky went 327-27 for a .924 winning percentage. From 1998 to 2005, winning the following titles: 7 DAC crowns, 7 sectionals, 6 regionals, 5 semi-states, 5 state qualifying teams, 3 state semifinalist teams, the 2001 state runner-up team, and the 2005 Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Association Coaches Trophy. Ed coached 42 state qualifiers, 25 place winners, 9 finalists, and 4 state champions. Ed has added, since leaving Portage, 9 sectionals, 8 regionals, 6 IHSWCA Class State dual teams, 20 state qualifiers, 12 state place winners, and 1 finalist to go along with 157 and 63 dual mark at Carmel since 2012. The 2000s. The turn of the millennium brought about the first permanent change of venue for the state wrestling finals in nearly 20 years. The finals would move into the NBA Pacers' new 18,500 seat home at Conseco Fieldhouse, setting a new 2-day record with 37,505 attending the 4 sessions of wrestling. Evansville Mater Dei and Coach Mike Gable would start off the 2000s just like they ended the 1990s by claiming their 6th consecutive state wrestling championship, once again without an individual finalist in the traditional meet. The Wildcats beat a determined Mishawaka squad 45-12 in the finals after the Cavemen squeaked past Belmont and Franklin in the preliminary rounds, both on tiebreaker criteria. Portage fell to Mater Dei 33-17 in the semis. The Wildcats, under coaches, the Wildcats' 6th straight title established a new IHSAA record for wrestling coaches and tied the Bloomington teams of the late 1940s and 50s under coaches Harold Mumby and Clifford Myers. The Calumet area crowned 5 individual state champions in Bobby Howard of Lowell, Alex Ramos of Hobart, Eric Keith, and Fred Joseph of Portage, and Marcus Shantube of Lowell. Mark Line led Lowell for a decade, where the Red Devils won 1 conference, 4 sectionals, 1 regional, 1 semi-state, and the IHSWCA's Coaches Cup. His 16 state qualifiers placed 8th once, 6th once, 5th once, and 1st 3 times. He served shorter stints coaching and assisting at Boone Grove, Kankakee Valley, Knox, North Newton, Valpo, and Ancilla College. The Mater Dei Wildcats continued their dominance in 2001, sending 4 wrestlers to the finals of the traditional meet and claiming 3 state champions. They would outdistance Portage 40-16 in the team finals for a record-setting 7th consecutive title. The Calumet region claimed 3 titleists in Alex Sursis, who became Griffith's first state champion, and Lake Central teammates Michael Escobedo and Michael Ingberg Barkley. In 2002, with the scheduling cooperation of several athletic conferences, independents, as well as coaches and ADs, a Lake County Wrestling Championship was established. No fewer than 19 of the 25 wrestling schools in Lake County participated in the inaugural event, with a few holdouts skeptical that it could be pulled off. Hosted Calumet the first year, the 2-day affair saw Griffith claim the team championship with 5 finalists and 3 champions. Several Calumet region wrestling legends participated by coming back and presenting awards to the place winners in the different weight classes. Several of the men that we've talked about already.
Yes.
Calumet's Brandon Davis earned the Outstanding Wrestler Award when he upset the number 2 ranked wrestler in the state in the finals. Over the years, the county has been hosted by Calumet, Highland, Griffith, Lake Station, Hammond Clark, and in recent years, it has found a semi-permanent home at Hanover Central. This winter marked the 23rd edition of the Lake County Championship. It was canceled in 21 due to COVID. The 2002 state team finals saw Evansville Mater Dei earn a record 8th straight title, 49-12 over Perry Meridian. Portage lost to Perry 40-15 in the opening round. The Wildcats pushed 4 men into the finals, crowning a lone champion in the traditional meet. The region crowned 5 state champions in Hector Mendez of East Chicago Central, Jason Cook of Valparaiso, Michael Escobedo of Lake Central, along with Griffith's Angel Escobedo and Alex Surtzis. The 2 Escobedo cousins were joined in the finals by another pair of cousins in Griffith's Jose Escobedo and Bishop Knoll's Dan Bedoy. This is believed to be the first and only time that 4 cousins all competed under the lights for an Indiana state title on the same evening. John Cook retired from the helm of Valparaiso after coaching his son Jason to a state championship in 2002. In his 25 years with the Vikings, his teams won a DAC title, 5 sectionals. His 33 Viking state qualifiers placed 8th twice, 5th once, 4th once, 3rd 3 times, 2nd 7 times, and he crowned 2 state champions. Prior to the 2002-2003 season, the IHSAA implemented its most prominent realignment and restructuring of the tournament since 1976, some 27 years. The 64 sectionals were consolidated into 32 larger tournaments of between 7 and 13 teams, with several changes designed to improve competition at the first level of the tournament. Some of these modifications were full wrestlebacks from the quarterfinal round of the sectional, advancing the top 4 place winners to the regional, and advancing the top 2 teams to the team regional. In 2003, Evansville Mater Dei extended their record streak of consecutive championships to 9 in a row, beating Griffith 42-23 in the finals. The victory moved Coach Mike Gable into a tie with Bloomington's Harold Mumby for Indiana's all-time record at 10 state championships apiece. The Wildcats pushed 5 into the finals of the traditional meet, crowning 4 state champions, combined with Griffith's 3 titleists. The top 2 teams accounted for half of all the state champions. Northwest Indiana claimed 5 state champs: Fernando Martinez of Highland, Angel Escobedo, Andre Hernandez, and Alex Surtzis of Griffith. And Michigan City's Brent Surface claimed the Wolves' first title since Elston and Rogers consolidated. Surtzis finished his junior season at 62-0 and 178-0 for his career, both new IHSAA wrestling records with a season to go. The 2004 season saw Evansville Mater Dei's 9-year run of state championships come to an end. The Wildcats fell to Portage 29-23 in the quarterfinals. Lawrence North avenged their only loss of the season to the Indians 23-21 in the semis, before besting Perry Meridian 47-12 in the finals. The 9 consecutive titles by Evansville Mater Dei was the second longest streak in any sport in IHSAA history at the time. Lawrence North was the first team to win a team dual title other than Mater Dei since the tourney began in '96. It was Coach Brett Krauser's first state title. The Calumet region crowned 5 state champions in Darren Elkins of Portage, who would later earn his living as a UFC featherweight nicknamed The Damage, and the Griffith Quartet of Jose Escobedo, Angel Escobedo, Andre Hernandez, and Alex Surtzis. Alex and Evansville Mater Dei's Blake Maurer became Indiana's 5th and 6th 4-time state championships all time, and the first duo to accomplish the feat in the same season. Alex became only the 2nd unbeaten 4-time champion in Indiana history, joining Lance Ellis of Cathedral and setting both state and national records for career victories at 236-0. Surtzis also became the first to win 4 titles in 4 different weight classes. Lawrence North repeated in 2005 with a 48-17 finals victory over Avon after beating Portage 34-21 in the quarterfinals. The region crowned 3 state champions in Eric Galka of Hobart, Angel Escobedo of Griffith, and Wesley English of Maryville. Escobedo became Indiana's 7th 4-time state champion, and Griffith emerged as the first school with multiple 4-timers joining Surtzis. Mike Gable and his Wildcats returned Evansville Mater Dei to the winner's circle in 2006. Their 39-15 finals victory over Belmont earned Gable his 11th team state championship, moving him past Mumby as the all-time leader in Indiana wrestling. Maryville fell to Belmont 28-25 in the quarterfinals. The 119-pound weight class had 3 defending champions in the bracket. However, all 3 lost before the semifinals. Mishawaka crowned 3 state champions, including Pat Day, who broke a 74-year-old record by pinning his semifinal opponent in just 11 seconds, eclipsing the old record of 15 seconds. The region crowned 5 state champions in Javier Salas and Dexter Larimore of Maryville, Andrew Howe of Hanover Central, Chad Biddle of Portage, and Eric McGill of Munster, who became the Mustangs' first state wrestling champion. The 2007 state finals marked the end of one of the most phenomenal coaching careers in Indiana wrestling history. Evansville Mater Dei's Mike Gable led the Wildcats for 29 years, from 1979 through 2007, compiled a dual record of 533 wins, 14 losses, and 2 ties for a 97.3 winning percentage.
What?
During his tenure, the Wildcats won 29 Evansville City titles, 27 Southern Indiana Athletic Conference titles, with 198 individual SIAC champions, 29 sectionals with 262 individual champions, 29 regionals with 160 champions, 22 semi-states with 72 individual champions, and 12 state championships with numerous qualifiers and place winners to go along with 22 individual state champions. Evansville Mater Dei also strung together a 135-match winning streak on his watch between 1991 and 1998. Mike was also named Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Association State Coach of the Year 8 times, National Wrestling Coaches Association National Coach of the Year in 1999 and 2003, and his final team beat Mishawaka 31-18 for the state championship. Maryville fell to Mishawaka 36-27 in the quarterfinals. Mike Gable's right-hand man, his lead assistant, Coach Randy Helfrich, also retired from coaching after 27 seasons at the helm of the Wildcats reserve team. His career record in that capacity set a national record at 450 wins against 0 losses. Oh, by the way,
He's never lost a dual meet.
never lost a
Like
JV
a varsity too.
in 27 years. Oh, by the way, Coach Gable also led the Wildcat football team to 2A state championships on the gridiron in 2000 and in 2022. The Calumet region claimed 4 state championships in Eric Galka of Hobart, Eric McGill of Munster, Jamal Lawrence of Maryville, and Andrew Howe of Hanover Central. In 2008, Mishawaka, under the tutelage of Coach Derek Snyder, won their first team state dual title by avenging their 2007 finals loss to Evansville Mater Dei 28-22. The Cavemen bested Maryville 30-22 in the semis. Mishawaka claimed 2 state champions in the traditional finals. The Calumet region crowned 4 state champions in Tom Churchard of Valpo, Sean McMurray of Portage, Brennan Cosgrove of Hobart, and Andrew Howe of Hanover Central. Robert Emmerich retired at the end of 2008 after 28 seasons at Lake Central. His teams won a Lake Suburban Conference crown, 15 sectionals, 2 regionals, and his 47 Indian state qualifiers placed 7th once, 6th once, 5th twice, 4th twice, 3rd 6 times, 2nd 7 times, and he crowned 6 state champions. In 2009, the Crown Point Bulldogs won their first team state championship, outlasting Perry Meridian 33-25 to bring the title back to the Calumet region for the first time since 1989. Coach Scott Vlink, over his 36-year tenure, amassed a dual record of 460 wins against 139 losses and 2 ties. His Bulldogs earned 15 conference titles, 23 sectional crowns, 13 regional trophies, 5 semi-states, a state runner-up, and a state championship. Flink coached 102 state qualifiers and 50 place winners, including 5 runners-up before his 2009 team finally crossed the Rubicon with 3 individual state champions. The Bulldogs' first state champions in 34 years, since 1975. The Calumet region claimed 5 state champions in Anthony Hawkins, Jason Surtsis, and Marcus Shrewsbury of Crown Point, Francisco Frankie Porras of Hobart, and Sean McMurray of Portage. In 2008-9, the IHSAA began advancing 4 from the regional to the semi-state to eliminate the first-round byes at semi-state. The decade of the 2000s produced 4 three-time state champs in Jake O'Brien of Franklin Central, Reese Humphrey of Lawrence North, Josh Harper of Mishawaka, and Andrew Howe of Hanover Central. 3 four-time state champs were also crowned in Blake Maurer of Mater Dei and Alex Surtsis and Angel Escobedo of Griffith. The 2010s. The 2010s began with Mishawaka and Derek Snyder claiming their second title in 3 years. In 2010, the Cavemen beat Yorktown 37-17 in the finals after dispatching Crown Point in the quarterfinals 45-19. The Calumet region claimed 6 state championships in the traditional lead in Kyle Eiersman of Lake Central, Jason Surtsis of Crown Point, Frankie Porras of Hobart, Eric Roach of Crown Point, Sean McMurray of Portage, and Nathan Cleveland of Lowell. Sarah Hildebrandt, a junior from Penn, became the first female semi-state qualifier in IHSAA history. In 2011, Perry Meridian and Jim Tante won their first state championship, outdistancing Lawrence North 44-21. Crown Point fell 30-25 to Evansville Mater Dei in the quarterfinals. Castle High School's twins, Doug and Chad Welch, became the 3rd set of twins all time to win state titles in the same season. 3 region wrestlers repeated as state champions in Kyle Eiersman of Lake Central, along with Jason Surtsis and Eric Roach of Crown Point. Kayla Miracle of Culver Military Academy and Sarah Hildebrandt of Penn became the 2nd and 3rd female semi-state qualifiers. The Team Dual State Championship began in 1996 when the IHSAA initiated the dual tourney. They made it the official team championship, and they stopped scoring the individual tourney after the sectional round. The sectional champions and later the runner-up teams, after consolidation, were used to fill the brackets of the team tourney. Several coaches, however, were not in favor of the dual format. Especially if they were located somewhere near very traditional wrestling powers. They de-emphasized the team tourney after the sectional was held. Over time, several coaches started sending their JV teams to wrestle in duels against local powers at the regional or semi-state level in an effort to protect their individuals for the traditional tournament. The IHSWCA powers continued to unofficially score the individual state finals and award the coaches trophy at the Hall of Fame banquet. After 16 years hosting a team state championship and dealing with the problems that diminished the integrity of the tournament, the IHSAA announced that 2012 would be the final team dual championship. The traditional state finals would once again become the official state championship for IHSAA. Each level would once again be scored as it was prior to the establishment of the dual meet championship. The IHSAA, in conjunction with the IHSWCA, would now allow for the establishment of a classed team state championship to be held over the holiday break, as long as the IHSWCA organized, promoted, sponsored, and financed it. The last official team dual state championship, sponsored by the IHSAA, was held in 2012. The Falcons of Perry Meridian pulled off a repeat by defending their title and avenging their 2009 title loss to Crown Point 43-14. 5 Calumet region state champions were crowned in Stefan Micic and Paul Petrov of Hanover Central, Kyle Eiersman of Lake Central, and Jason Surtsis and Tyler Kroll of Crown Point. Jason Surtsis became Indiana's 8th four-time state champion, joining his brother Alex as the first sibling four-time champions. Kayla Miracle, Culver Military Academy's 106-pounder, became the first female state qualifier in Indiana history, completing her sophomore season at 42-6. In 2012, the IHSAA held wrestlebacks at the semi-state for the quarterfinal losers to determine a true fifth-place winner as the alternate to the state finals. It was short-lived as they ended the practice after the 2013 state finals. In 2013, the IHSAA returned to recognizing the winner of the traditional state finals as the official state championship team. The Perry Meridian Falcons under Jim Tante not only won this rebirth of the state finals tournament, lost my place, hang on. They claimed their third consecutive state championship and established a new tournament scoring record of 102.5 points. The old record set by Delta in 1981 had been 99. The Falcons claimed 3 titles from their 4 finalists. The Calumet region crowned 3 champions in Stefan Michich of Hanover Central, Bobby Stevenson of Maryville, and Jeelan Robinson of Lake Central. The inaugural Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Association team duels were held at Westfield High School with 3 classes of 8 teams competing on 12 mats. The champions were Adams Central in 1A, Yorktown in 2A, and Perry Meridian in 3A. In 2014, Indianapolis Cathedral and Coach Sean McGinley won their first state title on the strength of 7 Irish state qualifiers, 3 finalists, and 1 state champion. The Calumet region crowned 3 champions in Jeremiah Reitz of Griffith, Stefan Michich of Hanover Central, and Jeelan Robinson of Lake Central. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Churubusco in 1A, Yorktown in 2A, and Franklin Community in 3A. I need to pause and get a drink of water, if you're okay with that.
I'm all right.
I told you it was long.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, I appreciate it. There's a lot of information here. I'm reliving the majority of the things that you're saying, especially in the 90s, because that's when I was in school, and listening to all these names as we're progressing into the 2000s. It's nostalgic.
This was the harder half because I know a lot of these guys. I know these coaches. I know these kids. I know these programs. The old timers, I was just reading history to everybody. Okay. In 2016, nope, I almost skipped a year. That would have been a mistake. In 2015, Penn and Coach Brad Harper won their first state title on the strength of 3 finalists and 2 state champions. Harper became the 7th former state champion to win a team title as a coach. The Calumet region crowned 4 champions in Colton Cummings of Lowell, Jacob Kovach of Maryville, Drew Hughes of Lowell, and Sean Streck of Maryville. The 2015 state finals were the first to be broadcast live on Fox Sports Indiana. The IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Adams Central in 1A, Yorktown in 2A, and Evansville Mater Dei in 3A. In 2016, Warren Central won its 2nd state title and first since 1980. The Warriors, on the strength of 4 finalists and a state champion, scored 109.5 points, eclipsing the state finals scoring record of 102.5 set by Perry Meridian in 2013. Coach Jim Tante was the head coach of both of these teams, and as he became the first coach in IHSAA history to win a wrestling state title at 2 different schools. Chad Redd of New Palestine became Indiana's 9th 4-time state champ, 3rd to do it unbeaten, and 2nd to win at 4 different weights. The Calumet region crowned 5 champions in Colton Cummings of Lowell, Jacob Kovach of Maryville, Drew Hughes of Lowell, and Jake Clamola of Lake Central, and Sean Streck of Maryville. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Prairie Heights in 1A, Belmont in 2A, and Brownsburg in 3A. In 2017, Brownsburg won its first Indiana High School Athletic Association state wrestling championship. The Bulldogs, on the strength of 3 finalists and a state champion, outdistanced Chesterton for the title. Coach Derek Snyder became only the second coach in IHSAA history to win a wrestling state title at 2 different schools, only 1 year after Tante became the first. The Calumet region crowned 2 champions in Brendan Black of Hobart and Andrew Davison of Chesterton. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Prairie Heights in 1A, Yorktown in 2A, and Brownsburg in 3A. Up until 2017, if girls in Indiana chose to participate in wrestling, they were required to train and compete with and against the guys on the boys' team. There were only a small number of girls that enjoyed a modicum of success competing against the boys. In 2016 and 17, Hamilton Heights coach Gary Myers and ISWA chairman Culp led the way in the establishment of Indiana High School girls wrestling, the IHSGW. 2 regionals were contested, with the top 4 place winners qualifying for the state finals, hosted at Hamilton Heights High School. That first IHSGW state finals field consisted of 87 wrestlers competing. Penn High School won the first team state championship, and the Calumet region's first ever IHSGW state champ was Calumet's very own Caitlin Clark, who pinned her way to the 120-pound title. In 2018, Cathedral won the state championship on the strength of 4 finalists with 1 champion to lay claim to Coach Sean McGinley's second title. The Calumet region crowned 4 state champions in Jacob Moran and Christian Rumpf of Portage, and Lucas Davison and Eli Picorni of Chesterton. Davison joined his brother Andrew and father Keith in the storied roster of Trojan state champions. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Prairie Heights in 1A, Wawasee in 2A, and Brownsburg in 3A. Penn High School won their second straight IHSGW state championship. The Calumet region crowned Kaylee Adams of Portage as an IHSGW state champion. In 2019, the Irish of Cathedral defended their state championship on the strength of 4 finalists, 2 champions, to lay claim to Coach McGinley's third title. The Calumet region crowned 3 state champions in Jacob Moran of Portage, Jesse Mendez of Crown Point, and Arthur A.J. Fowler of Calumet. A.J. won his title in a thrilling come-from-behind victory with a dramatic late third-period takedown that concluded in a fall. Andy and I had planned that if A.J. won and came running over to jump on us, we were both going to try to snatch him out of the air to lessen the impact and keep from getting knocked over in front of 15,000 people. It worked, but he cross-faced me and knocked my glasses off. Several photographers captured that scene with my glasses flying through the air. Fortunately, Trevino saw them fly off and retrieved them for me before someone crushed them, or I would have needed someone to drive the team back to the region on Sunday. He was the last of the 5 Fowler brothers to wrestle for us. They amassed a combined 506 career victories for the Warriors. It was one of my proudest moments in coaching. I got to sit in the chair and share the moment with my first state champion, Andy Trevino, by my side, and I got to coach the son and nephew of a couple of my other former wrestlers, Artie and Eddie Fowler.
Artie has created some monsters for Calumet, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Oh,
I got to coach his son to a championship, and what a thrill it was for our wrestling family. We were greeted the next day. We had a little assembly in our field house. Some of the parents bought some cakes, and his grandma got to be there. It was really cool. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Adams Central in 1A, Western in 2A, and Brownsburg in 3A. Penn High School won their third straight IHSGW state championship. The Calumet region crowned Madeline Rearick of Chesterton and Alexi Westfall of Crown Point as IHSGW state champions. The decade of the 2010s produced 6 three-time state champions in Sean McMurray of Portage, Kyle Ersman of Lake Central, Stefan Michich of Hanover Central, Brayton Lee of Brownsburg, Mason Paris of Lawrenceburg, and Asa Garcia of Avon. 2 four-time state champions were also crowned in Jason Surtsis of Crown Point and Chad Red of New Palestine. The 2020s, we were very fortunate in 2020 to be able to complete our wrestling season before the state of Indiana shut down schools and the IHSAA leadership canceled the rest of the state basketball series and all spring sports due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Irish of Cathedral and Coach McGinley completed a three-peat of state championships with 3 finalists and 2 state champs. The Calumet region crowned 2 state champions in Jesse Mendez of Crown Point and Evan Bates of Chesterton. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: North Posey in 1A, Belmont in 2A, and Cathedral in 3A. The Penn Kingsmen won their 4th consecutive IHSGW state championship. The Calumet region crowned Trinity Malave of Munster and Leah Bishop of Highland as IHSGW state champions. The 2020 and 21 wrestling season would prove to be challenging, to say the least. Most schools in Indiana were shut down during the spring of 2020. When the new school year began in the fall, many schools began on a virtual schedule. Several schools and conferences placed tight restrictions on practice routines, workout groupings, competition sites, setups, and spectators, mat and equipment care and sanitizing practices, laundry and showering practices, competition types, and a whole plethora of other requirements that made the season very memorable and a very big pain in the rear end. The state finals was run in shifts, with half of the weights contested on Friday afternoon and the other half wrestled in the evening. We were very fortunate indeed because the NCAAs and the Olympics in 2020 were canceled and postponed respectively. The 2021 state finals did not disappoint, though. Evansville, Mater Dei, and Chesterton waged an epic battle that resulted in a new scoring record for the Wildcats, 112-107. Coach Greg Schaefer led Evansville Mater Dei to its first title since 2007, the program's 13th overall, good for second most all-time behind Bloomington. Schaefer also became only the 8th state championship coach to have also won a wrestling state title as an athlete. Evansville Mater Dei qualified 7, pushed 3 into the finals, and crowned 2 state champions. All 8 Chesterton qualifiers advanced to the Saturday sessions to earn places, including 2 finalists and a champion. The Calumet region claimed 3 state champions in Ashton Jackson of LaPorte, Sergio Lemley of Chesterton, an Illinois state champion for Chicago's Mount Carmel, who transferred back to his home school in Indiana when Illinois shut down all prep sports in 21, and Jesse Mendez of Crown Point. In the IHSAA team duels, the following teams won titles: Tell City in 1A, Garrett in 2A, and East Central in 3A. East Central in 3A and Evansville Mater Dei in the new 4A class. The Lebanon Tigers won their first Indiana High School Girls Wrestling State Championship. The Calumet region crowned Alexi Westfall of Crown Point and Nadine Summer of Lowell as IHSGW state champions. Chesterton's Chris Joel coached at 3 different DAC schools, Maryville, Valpo, and Chesterton, in a 34-year coaching career from 1986 to 2021. He was on staff at Chesterton when the Trojans won the state title in 1989. At Maryville High School, his teams won a DAC title, 4 sectionals, had 7 state qualifiers, and 6 place winners. In his 18 years at Chesterton, Joel's teams won 10 sectionals, 2 regionals, 2 semi-states, qualified for 2 IHSWCA team state finals, and 2 IHSAA state runner-up trophies in 2017 and 2021. Joel also coached 63 Trojan state qualifiers, 34 place winners, 5 state champions, and 1 200-plus dual meets. The Wildcats' scoring mark of 112 points was a short-lived record.
Yeah.
The Crown Point Bulldogs of 2022 qualified 11 for the state finals, pushed 9 of 11 through to the quarterfinals, guaranteeing a podium finish, advanced 8 to the semifinals for top 4 places, and sent 6 to wrestle under the spotlight for a state championship. When the dust cleared and the house lights were brought up, the Dogs had a 5th. They had 2 4ths, 3 runners-up, and 3 state champions. And oh yeah, 178 points to eclipse the year-old scoring standard by a whopping 66-point margin. Coach Brandon Lorick won his first state title in convincing fashion. Heather Kroll of Northeastern and Juliana Ocampo of New Haven advanced to the state finals, marking the first time that 2 girls qualified in the same season. Earning the 5 titles from the Calumet region were Ashton Jackson of LaPorte and Logan Frazier, Jesse Mendez, and Sam Goen from Crown Point, and Christian Carroll of New Prairie, the Cougars' first ever state champion. Jesse Mendez and Sam Goen, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. Jesse Mendez became only the 10th wrestler in IHSAA history to win 4 championships. In the IHSWCA team duels, the following teams won titles: Tell City down south in 1A, Belmont in 2A, and Columbus East in 3A, with Crown Point earning the 4A title. The Penn Kingsmen returned to their winning ways in claiming their 5th IHSGW state championship. However, the Calumet region failed to crown a champion in the IHSGW state championship for the first time. Crown Point pulled off the repeat in 2023, finishing just 11 points shy of their scoring record of 178 they set in 2022. The Bulldogs qualified 11 for the state, pushed 9 into the quarters, 7 to the semis, 4 into the finals. They placed 7th, 5th, 3rd 3 times, and crowned 4 state champions. The Calumet region crowned 6 state champions in Aiden Torres of Chesterton, Sam Goen, Cody Goodwin, Orlando Cruz, and Will Clark of Crown Point, and Cole Salome of Kankakee Valley, who won the Cougars' first ever state title. Juliana Ocampo of New Haven qualified for her 2nd trip to the state finals. Penn repeated to win their 6th IHSGW state championship. The Calumet region crowned IHSGW state champions in Alexandra Bostayich of Highland and Ellie Janowski of Lake Central. In the IHSWC team duels, the following teams won titles: Tell City in 1A, Western in 2A, Mishawaka in 3A, and Crown Point in 4A. In 8 seasons, Crown Point's Brandon Lorick has led the Bulldogs to 100-plus dual victories, 5 DAC titles, 8 sectionals, 7 regionals, 5 semi-states, 2 IHSAA state titles, 3 IHSWCA team dual titles, and he's crowned 11 individual state champions. The 2024 state finals moved to Evansville's Ford Center because of the NBA All-Star Game being hosted at Indy's Gainbridge Fieldhouse, provided fans with one of the tightest team races in history. Brownsburg outdistanced Center Grove and Crown Point 124.5 to 121.5 to 121. Coach Derek Snyder became the first wrestling coach to win multiple titles at more than one school. The Bulldogs qualified 9 to state, advanced 8 to the quarters, pushed 6 into the semis, 3 into the finals, crowned 2 state champions. Calumet region teams advanced 5 to the finals, but only managed a solitary state champion in Will Clark of Crown Point. Once again, Heather Kroll of Northeastern and Juliana Ocampo of New Haven advanced to the state finals. Ocampo, in her 3rd trip to the state finals, became the first girl to earn a place on the podium with her 6th place finish. New Haven won their first IHSGW state championship. The Calumet region crowned repeat IHSGW state champions in Alexandra Bastayich of Highland and Ellie Janowski of Lake Central. In the IHSWCA duels, the following teams won titles: Rochester in 1A, Delta in 2A, Floyd Central in 3A, and Crown Point in 4A. The 2024 offseason brought about several significant National Federation high school rules changes that helped to align high school wrestling more closely with the collegiate rules. Wrestlers are now in bounds with only 1 point of contact on the mat or out of bounds line, meaning they can be almost completely out of bounds while still wrestling. This change aims to encourage more offensive wrestling and reduce confusion regarding out of bounds calls. Takedowns are now worth 3 points, and the near fall scoring system has been adjusted to award 2 points for a 2-second near fall, 3 points for a 3-second near fall, and 4 points for a 4-second near fall. The result has been an enormous increase in the number of tech falls occurring during matches and a speeding up of the time it takes to complete dual meets and tournaments. 2024-2025, the season that we are just now entering into the boys state tournament this weekend. The 2024-25 season marked the beginning of girls wrestling as an officially sanctioned IHSAA championship sport, after being classified as an emerging sport for the past 3 years. During the 23-24 school year, more than 1,400 girls from 177 schools competed in girls wrestling in Indiana, even though Indiana was quite late getting into the game as the 46th state to officially sanction girls wrestling. The IHSGW had been running an Indiana state tournament since the 2017 season. This season, all 9th grade girls were required to compete in girls-only competitions. The 10th through 12th grade girls who had wrestled in the boys state tournament series in prior seasons could opt out of the girls tournament and compete in the boys tourney, but they could no longer compete in both. The 3-week-long girls state tournament was held on Fridays due to the ongoing shortage of wrestling officials at 16 sectional sites, 4 regional sites, and the state finals were held at the Cortiva Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Some 2,217 girls from 273 schools competed in the 16 sectionals of the first IHSAA sanctioned girls state wrestling tournament. A 16-woman bracket was used, with the top 4 place winners advancing to each level of the tournament. Full wrestlebacks from the quarterfinals were used at the sectional. Straight consolations were used at the regional, with the semifinal losers wrestling for 3rd place. At state, the quarterfinal losers wrestled back for 5th through 8th places, while the semifinal losers wrestled for 3rd place. As the 2024-25 season winds its way towards the boys state tournament series in the upcoming weeks, here's a quick review of results from some of the more prominent regular season tournaments. The champions of the Capital City Classic were Westfield. Delphi's Mike Atwood Memorial, Carol from Fort Wayne. Lake Central's Bob Emmerich Harvest Classic, Portage. Calumet's Chris Trikoff Memorial Invitational, Lowell. Elkhart's Jim Nicholson Invite, Penn. Maryville's Tom Cameron Memorial Invitational, Lafayette Harrison. Crown Point's Carl Carnahan Memorial Invitational, Brownsburg. Rochester's John McKee Invite, North Miami. The Marion County Tournament, Annapolis Roncalli. Castle's Bob Harmon Invite, Vincennes Lincoln. The Clinton Prairie Invite, Terre Haute South. Jeffersonville's Jeff Classic, Bloomington South. Mishawaka's Al Smith Invitational, Crown Point. Mooresville's Holiday Classic, Perry Meridian. Connorsville Spartan Classic, Fishers. Columbus East Invite, Columbus East. Evansville Mater Dei Classic, Union County, Kentucky. The Maconaquah Invite, Maconaquah. The Lake County Championship, Maryville. The IHSWCA Team State, North Miami in 1A, Garrett in 2A, Roncalli in 3A, and Brownsburg in 4A. The IHSAA Girls Northwest Indiana Sectional Team Champions. The Indiana Christian Sectional Champion was Maryville. The Hobart Sectional Champion was Hobart. The IHSAA Girls Northern Indiana Regional Team Champions at the Goshen Regional were the Maryville Pirates. The inaugural 2025 Girls IHSAA State Championship. Jay County was 6th with 52. Garrett was 5th with 57.5. Whiteland was 4th with 61. Franklin was 3rd with 63.5. Maryville was 2nd with 65. And the Columbus East Olympians were the first girls state championship team with 89 points. Calumet Region IHSAA state champions. Joy Cantu went 4-0 at Team State this past weekend, so I've modified her record. Joy Cantu finished 41-0 for Maryville. Ava Strayer finished 39-0 for Crown Point. And three-peat champion Alexandra Bastayich finished 43-0 for Highland. The inaugural
did you know that Joy didn't even let anybody out of the first minute?
I didn't go that deep.
She didn't let anybody out of the first minute.
She's tough.
Yeah.
She gave the boys fits for the last 4 years.
She's going to give people fits for a long time.
The inaugural Indiana High School Girls Wrestling Coaches Association Team State. In 6th place, Hobart, 2-2. In 5th place, Whiteland, 3-1. In 4th place, Franklin, 2-2. In 3rd, Jay County, 3-1. In 2nd, Franklin Central, 3-1. And the Maryville Pirates went unbeaten at 4-0 on today, winning their championship match over Franklin Central, 47-34. The Calumet Region Conference champions, the Duneland Conference, the Crown Point Bulldogs, the GLAC, I believe that's the Great Lakes Athletic Conference, is Hammond Central. The Greater South Shore Conference, Griffith. The Hoosier Conference, Rensselaer. And the NCC, which stands for Northwest Crossroads Conference, I believe, was the Lowell Red Devils.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack & Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strack & Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. For years, I've helped your family and friends save on their car insurance. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record or a not-so-perfect record. Follow me to the Crowell Agency for immediate and affordable coverage. I'm your insurance superhero. Crowd Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Due after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at forajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
First home, dream home, forever home. Tech Credit Union has the right home loan for you. Their loan officers could help you purchase a home, refinance your current mortgage, or unlock your home's equity to get cash out for any purpose. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they are the better option for a home loan. Learn more at www.techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union is an equal housing lender and federally insured by the NCUA.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialists.